I think I'm on day 12 right now, and it's feeling really, really good. Yeah, I feel like so much energy, and I feel like I finally have gotten over the hump of that first week of intense detox symptoms. I mean, I'm not sure if they were intense. They were a little intense for me, but I guess I'm just inspired and excited to keep going.
What kind of detox symptoms were you experiencing?
I was getting very, very lightheaded. Um, and pretty tired and a little grouchy. Really, really hungry all the time. Just like I've been wanting like cheese and dairy and pizza and stuff. But I feel like I'm over that hump, and it feels great now.
Did you feel like you were eating enough also? Because sometimes, if you're getting lightheaded, it might just be you need to eat a little more, even if it's just more fruits and veggies.
Yeah, so I thought I was, because I usually eat quite a bit throughout the day. So but maybe I wasn't getting enough. I guess I've been kind of I'm dealing with candida, so I wasn't sure if so much fruit was good. Um, but I have started to eat more fruit, and it is starting to feel a little bit better. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to find my flow with it all. I'm learning so much.
Yeah, and I'm sure the Carries will want to chime in on this too. But if you are experiencing like major candida, I'm sure Rita's told you as well. But you can stick to the more non-sweet fruits, like the cucumbers and the bell peppers and the tomatoes, and just really, really use those until you start to see your symptoms decreasing. And I'm sure with the parasite cleanse, now that you're in day 12, you'll also start to see some different things coming out with that as well. So, Carrie's, if you want to chime in on that.
I don't think I heard the whole question. She's just dealing with candida and wants to know some good remedies. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's just the fruit. I'm worried about eating a whole bunch of fruit, and yeah.
Yeah, so we just have to like get out of that trained thinking that we've been in. I mean, if you, yeah, like Mary already responded, like you could go to the veggie fruits if you wanted, but fruit doesn't feed fungus like fermented foods do. So things like breads, cheese, pastas, dairy, etc. Those are already pre-fermented. They're already fungal, and so when you eat fruit in the proper order, like proper food combining, meaning fruit first and fruit alone, and not having a starchy fruit followed by a watery fruit, etc., you're not going to create any fermentation because the fruit digests in your mouth fully. So fruit is broken down by the ptyalin in our saliva, and so we can break down fructose and glucose with our saliva, and it doesn't require anything additional from the pancreas. It doesn't require anything additional from the pancreas, whether it's insulin or amylase. So fruit is actually so powerful because it digests so quickly, and then it goes into the stomach, and then the body will assess if there's any bacteria or microbes or parasites on the fruit that it would need to burn up, and then it gets absorbed by the intestinal tract. So I always eat fruit basically in the beginning half of the day. I don't really go back and forth between fruit and vegetables. I really stick with fruit, and then I move to veg. That's how I do it to make sure, because if you do tend to have slower digestive process, you could be creating a fermentation state. So I wouldn't like eat a salad and then 2 hours later, if you feel food sitting in your stomach, don't go back to fruit. So just really following the process of proper food combining and trusting your body. And fruit is very alkaline. It starves out acid-based environments, which is a fungal environment. So just trust yourself.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'll take a look at the food combining chart again.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference, what Carrie and Mary Beth said. And also, It could also have to do with adrenal glands, because adrenal glands are responsible for sugar metabolism. And so it could be, you know, a good opportunity to support the adrenal glands. And I know Purium has a product called Be Energetic that's great for adrenal health that you could maybe look into if you're ordering again.
Okay, great.
How about anyone else? You want to pop off and share a little bit about your experience, where you're at, how you feeling?
I will. I'm Anna. I know Carrie from like what, 15 years ago. We worked at a restaurant together. So I got started because I've had all kinds of health issues, but mainly my husband and I have not been able to conceive a child. And I did a surgery about 2 years ago to see if we had endometriosis, and it just kind of put me out rather than help me move forward. So I had like walking issues. My right hip was not allowing me to walk very well. So I've done PT, acupuncture, I've done chiropractor, I've just done a lot of stuff. But when I met the medical massage therapist that I go to now, she mentioned my lymphatic system was completely blocked. And she has been working for, it's been a year and a half now, to try and move things along. And she's done great, but I just had a session with her about an hour ago, and I'm on day 18 of my cleanse, and she was just ecstatic. She's never got my lower abdomen to, she makes sure I'm spongy and squishy, and I haven't been able to do any of that in my middle or my lower abdomen. And she was like, oh my God, it's opening up. So I've had just this crazy underarm fat that has developed in the last year and a half, basically after the surgery, and it has started to firm up, which I didn't know if it ever would. So that was really exciting. And then my bowels were, and I wrote a post about this in the group, so sorry if this is too graphic for you guys, but my bowels were like just terrible. I wasn't digesting food. It was bad. And I'm finally having solid poops, so I'm real excited about that. My biggest question, and I guess is, how do we, I guess I want to know, are you guys just like total vegan? Because we were big meat eaters, and I know that's like a bad word to say around here, but this has been a huge transition for my husband and I just want to know, after we do this cleanse, and I know Carrie Drinkwine's lifestyle is total, you know, vegan, but do people go back to their life? Can you like, how, what's the transformation after this cleanse? I don't want to like shock my body, and I love this lifestyle, but I know my husband is like macho man, drinks beer and, you know, loves a grill. So I want to help us both to kind of move forward after the 30-day cleanse. Anybody?
I can share on that. That's a great question, and I felt the same way when I first started, like, because I came from that same background. I didn't have this awareness that I have now about health, and I didn't have the experience in my own body. And since transforming, I now am, you know, heavy plant-based, real whole food type of eater now. But if someone is wanting to incorporate meat, it's to understand how that shouldn't be the main focus of the meal, and having that, like, if they're going to include that, know where it comes from, and then have that more on the side and have like the more whole food plant-based as the main thing, that would be ideal. And so you can only hope that is he doing the transformation with you, you said?
He is, yeah.
Okay.
So
he did it. He's doing it. He's doing really good. I'm really proud of him.
Yeah, that's awesome that he's doing it. And so he may notice, and this is what happened with my husband, because he came from the same background of, he didn't really eat any fruits and vegetables before changing his diet. And now he finds, when he's like, gosh, when I eat more animal-based products, I smell worse, or, you know, he'll work out and so he just on his own discovered he feels better and more energetic when he has less of that. And so it's not trying to convince someone how to have a certain diet or lifestyle, but just like really pay attention to how he feels as he adds things back in. Like, how is his digestion? How is his energy? And meat can be a stimulant. And so it can be tough for people to let go of that, because you're taking on that energy of that adrenaline and all the hormones and everything with that complex, structure of the animal you're taking on, all of that to break it down. And so he might notice he feels a lot lighter and more energetic not having it. But, if he decides to incorporate it, to my opinion would be to have more plant-based and have that on the side versus that be the main focus, to just keep health and balance, and then to have a balance doing cleanses, multiple times a year, and to take a break from it. And there's a book called The Blue Zones, and they studied in different cultures of people that lived the longest and were the healthiest. And what they found was most people, had the sense of community. And they also found that most people were heavy plant-based, and they used meat as a celebratory event. So that wasn't their main focus, and they had it only on special occasions. So treating it more of that type of a thing could be a helpful moving forward if he still wants to incorporate it. And the other ladies can share their thoughts as well.
All right. Okay. That was a great explanation, Carrie. And I just wanted to emphasize about like reintroducing things one at a time. So after a cleanse, like you said, you don't want to put your body in shock. So you don't want him to just like his first meal be like steak and potatoes and
It's exactly what you said, so you can't wait to have. So yes, thank you for that. She's listening.
I would encourage him to just introduce things one at a time, because then he can see how his body's reacting. Like if he does it all at once, he won't know if it's the steak or the potatoes or whatever it is that's giving him, maybe a gut ache or whatever comes about. But if you can kind of do one thing at a time, then you can really see, like, is this benefiting my body, or maybe I feel better without it. And again, it's a very individual journey. But I highly encourage the slow ease-in process. And congratulations on your massage. That's amazing. One of the reasons that you might be experiencing that is endometriosis can really come from being in a very acidic state. And when that happens, the lymphatic system gets congested, and almost like calcifications and hardenings happen. And so when you start to alkalize and get these alkaline fluids in, that starts to break up and release. And so that your body, you're overeating these things like calcifications may go away. And so really what your experience is just your body is switching over to a more alkaline state, and it's allowing for less tension and just more ease in there. So I'm really excited for you. It's really awesome.
Me too. Thank you.
I also like to say just be super open-minded, because we can be so regimented and like, oh, I only have to do this for 30 days and then I get to go back to my life. And that's why it's called like a lifestyle transformation, is because we are really transforming what we know to be true in our bodies. And so really practicing non-attachment and practicing like, okay, well, I'm just going to take all of the great things that happened on this cleanse and, kind of keep rolling. Like maybe I always have fruit for breakfast still. We always recommend moving forward out of the cleanse with keeping the foundational nutrition in your diet. So the core 4. So still having 5 aminos every day, still having a shake every day, just one. And then still having the biomedic every day and the apothecary before bed. And that's because if you watch any of the Dr. Zach Bush videos or the posts that I put inside the Mighty Network today, is all about like regenerating gut health specifically. So if you watch that, you'll have a deeper understanding of like how our plants are not complete in their structure, and how we need this essential, very biodiverse plant life that we're drinking every day, and we need to keep removing glyphosate every day. So just simply keeping like the foundational core 4 in your diet makes it so much easier to eat healthy, because you feel better. Like you crave the shake, you feel good, your gut feels good. And then you eat something core and you're like, oh, okay, well, it was delicious for 5 seconds, but now I feel like crap. So just like allowing yourself to be open to the process and not, setting any hard rules for yourself, but choosing to really listen to your body. Is my body actually asking for meat, or is that a personal preference or addiction? Or, you know, just kind of those sorts of things. And then also making sure that if you are eating meat, it's organic, local, grass-fed. Just get rid of the hormones and the pesticides. You're already getting enough hormones and steroids from the animal alone, so we don't need to add any fuel to that fire.
I see
Anybody else?
a question about what are the flex foods? Okay, Ash is asking what are the flex foods, and then also asking if we recommend to do this cleanse for 90 days. I think it's great to do that for 90 days because it takes a while for your body to really you can see a good amount in 30 days, but if you're feeling good and you want to keep going, you definitely can. And that option is a great one that a lot of people do, and they find they go a little deeper each one because they start to understand how it works and how they feel, and know how to kind of, there's an art to it. So knowing how to like speed things up and get more healing done. So yeah, I definitely recommend people to at least do 90 days. I think is always good. Check in, with 30 and then move forward. And then flex foods are just like, your fruits and vegetables. We don't follow the chart exactly, and we have unlimited, eat till you're satisfied, of course. And you can follow like the intermittent fasting if that calls to you. And, but I would say the flex foods are mostly fruits and vegetables. If someone is having a really hard time not letting go of meat, they could, not that we're recommending to have that on the cleanse, but if somebody really needs that, to have a small piece and then eventually taper off that as we go deeper. Yeah, if anyone else wants to share on.
Michelle, you can pop on and ask your questions.
Thanks. Do you want them all at once or one at a time?
Okay, one at a time.
Okay. I'm on month 5, maybe 6, and I'm doing maintenance right now. And I just have a few more pounds to go as far as weight gain. I just had and then I have a friend whose son is also looking for something that will help with weight gain. And I know once we optimize our body, we'll just get to the optimal weight. But is there something specific that's like more caloric, or I don't know? Does that make sense? The question that we would say to somebody who is looking to gain weight? I know.
Yeah, go ahead. I would suggest the love meal. It is definitely more calorically dense, and I would just suggest adding in an extra shake a day. The aminos as well they're going to help you build muscle, and as we know, muscle weighs more than fat, so you can definitely amp up on the aminos a little bit too to give your structural body some more oomph. But those would be my 2 main suggestions. And you can do the 30-day kit in the customizable form and get it with the love meal and the power shake.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I just wanted to address that. So that's exactly how I would have answered that. Mary's so knowledgeable on the products. But we want to think bigger than just caloric intake. Like not being able to gain weight is oftentimes a deep malabsorption issue, as well as pancreatic health. So your pancreas is in charge of all of your digestive enzymes and like breaking down foods on that basic enzymatic level. So a lot of times people that have trouble building muscle is related to the pancreas or to the liver, and then also the health of the adrenal glands. And that whole system is connected in the endocrine system. So I would recommend for you to continue, hold on baby, to continue with the Biomedic. Sorry, you guys see this, guys? She's covered in peas and she's jumped in the pool with her clothes on, so she's kind of a mess right now. But I would continue on the biomedic pretty religiously. And then somebody mentioned in there, like, would colonics be helpful? They would in this case if you're dealing with some deep malabsorption and some really old stuck plaque or anything. But yeah, getting the gut to actually absorb nutrition and getting the pancreas to properly break down foods is going to be that key to you building muscle and building and gaining weight. But the aminos are so great because they don't need the pancreas for that. So, and then the last piece of that is really often, and we don't like to hear this, but we're dealing with parasites on a really deep level when we're not gaining weight. And so really sticking to your guns and starving them out for more than 90 days. So because parasites are gobbling up our nutrition. And there's a video in the informative video section by Mark James Gordon that explains the stomach and bowel health and the parasites and how that works. So you may need deeper herbal support outside of Purium, which is always my recommendation. Like I always recommend starting from a 30-day process. Like this is like taking a standard American eater and bringing them into deep cellular nourishment and gentle detoxification. But you may need to reach out to whoever brought you here and start getting on a deeper herbal protocol to really regenerate and get parasites out. And Mary Beth just put in there, parasites are often stuck in the mucoid plaque, which is so true. We have little bowel pockets, diverticula. Diverticulitis is a huge parasite issue because they hide in the bowel pockets, and then it causes infection and fever and inflammation and all sorts of stuff. And then the medical route to solving that is an antibiotic. And then that kills off our gut flora and allows that environment to thrive even more, and the parasites just keep multiplying. So if you're dealing with those sorts of issues, I recommend doing the detox definitely 90 days, adding in some deeper herbal support, and really sticking to your guns. So like I personally wouldn't do things like quinoa or any grains or potatoes or anything like that at all. Really stick to your fruit and veg and high alkalizing foods.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I had a toxic poisoning that wiped out my gut flora, and I was on a pretty heavy medical detox because of the levels. So fortunately, I don't have parasites, which is great, unless there's a place that they wouldn't have looked for them. What it shows is that my good bacteria, my lactobacilli was not growing, and it was completely wiped out of my gut. And so I was down to 88 pounds, but I'm back up to about 114 now. So I'm just trying to gain that last 4 back. I think I'm on a good path, but and I'll stay with, what you recommended. The second question I have is the people that go through the illness and the poisoning that I went through oftentimes have some bruising of the liver and liver damage, and kidneys need some extra support. And so is there something that you would add to the core 4 to really help regenerate the liver and the kidneys?
Yeah, for definitely there's certain herbs that can be helpful. I'm not sure who brought you here, but either one of us, Carrie, Rita, Mary Beth, can help with that. There's certain herbal formulas that we work with that can really help regenerate the kidneys and liver. So I would definitely connect to have more of a specific protocol.
Okay, I'll just reconnect with Mary Beth on that. And then during my last, they've been taking my blood and everything's been normalizing, but what they found on the recent CAT scan was a 2-millimeter stone in the upper pell of the right kidney. And I don't do grains, and I'm mostly fruits and veggies. And so can I pass this by my doctor said absolutely not. You're not gonna be able to pass that by yourself, and if you do, it'd be really painful. Just kind of wondering what if that's possible, something that size, and if a total fruitarian diet for a little while could help, or if there's something else you might recommend.
Yeah, well, first, we can't make any medical claims whatsoever, but you know, we can tell you that yeah, you can pass that. But I've had a couple of patients with really, really, really chronic kidney stones, like 20 in each kidney, super large, and they actually broke up into smaller pieces when he went back for his next scan. They were like much smaller, and he passed them all naturally. Your body doesn't want those obstructions there. Our body is designed to get those obstructions out, and calcifications happen from acidosis. So it's been in there a long time. So as you continue to alkalize and pump the kidneys and flush the kidneys, you can get it out. But you know, it could be quite painful if you go too fast. So there's an art to detoxification. I would really dive in with Mary Beth and get on some kidney herbs. I'd be drinking a Apothecary for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know, get an extra bottle or two every month because the cherries just ring and drain the kidneys. I would also be focusing on the aminos for your skeletal and regeneration support, just in the, you know, the health. So you might be on 10 aminos every day or 15 aminos every day, scattered throughout. But I would be on, you know, to start a kidney 1, kidney 2 formula for sure. Probably a bone and connective tissue, possibly a parathyroid, glandular if needed, if you have other signs of a weak parathyroid gland. And that would, those sorts of things, basically your parathyroid gland is in charge of calcium utilization in your body. So excessive thinness is usually related to malabsorption, parasites, parathyroid. These are all really connected because your parathyroid gland is your defense mechanism to supporting the calcium and how your body utilizes calcium. So if your parathyroid gland is down and the body needs some sort of alkaline buffer, it's just going to take calcium. So the way your body deals with acidosis is by robbing calcium from the bone and connective tissue system. And eventually those calcium that it keeps robbing turn into these calcium deposits and these stones that end up in the kidneys. And so some women eat, like I'm the kind of woman, like I gain fat, like I look at a cookie, I gain weight, right? That's how my body works. But really, really excessively thin people often lose calcium. So you're just dealing with a different evil, right? So we use water, calcium, fat, cholesterol in order to buffer acids because they're a pH of 8. They're very alkaline. So your body's brilliant. It's designing to, it's healing itself. It's supporting you. But I think that if you're dealing with like brittle nails, any sort of hair loss or thinning of the hair over time, if you're dealing with varicose veins or spider veins or cramping in your muscles when you walk, any of those signs are parathyroid weakness. And then I would start an herbal protocol to really support the kidneys and to support the parathyroid and just start pumping the body clean. And then the last physical thing that you could do is castor oil pack in your kidneys to start extracting waste.
Lee, thank you, Carrie. Lee, I saw you had a comment in here about saying you're about to start your 10-day. What might that be like? So I thought this would be an opportunity if anybody who has started their 10-day or in their 10-day might want to pop on and let Lee know something experienced or something like that. Feel free to pop on. Nobody? No takers?
I'll chime in. I'm a week in now. I started last a week ago on Tuesday evening, and I've been like 95% like raw vegan, which has been really great. And I feel like the Purium supplements have been really helpful in helping me adjust to that diet. I don't think I really ever could have done it without that. And I've been juicing and things of that nature. And I'm a week now. I'm feeling very good, and I'm feeling like my body has adjusted to this kind of shift in diet, even though I was eating relatively clean before. But I did notice, like, once I really started to suddenly to intake a lot more fruits and veggies, especially through juicing, I experienced some very heavy detoxing symptoms, very similar to ones other people had been describing already. But one I was experiencing, especially after drinking the shake, was like frequent urination. And I'm wondering if that was like, if that's related to like parasites leaving the body or detoxing. And then also just one thing, just with how heavy of a week it's been, and I live in like South Minneapolis, like I've been kind of inclined to stress eat, but I haven't really, but I live with roommates, so we have a lot of snacks in the house. So there've been a couple instances where I've eaten like some chips or things like that, and I'm wondering how much that could if that has any effect on the detox. I mean, ideally, I want to just wipe all of that out. I've been pretty good about not eating anything processed and all organic. So.
Yeah, frequent urination is really common when you start detoxing. Basically, fruits are so powerful, and all the supplements we're on are so powerful because they penetrate through the cell, they restore it with electrolytes, and they pull waste with it. So one, you're eating a highly water-based diet. So even without drinking water, everything you're eating has over 90% water. And then a lot of the stuff in the shake, like the spirulina and the chlorella and all of that, they do trigger detox in the body. And detoxification means getting rid of cellular waste, which things that have been intracellular inside the cell are now going extracellular into the lymph and then being brought to the kidneys to pee out. So I always have increased urination during detoxification, and you should be, it's a good sign that your body is flushing and moving through everything. So I wouldn't worry about that. But also, if you can't go through the night without going to the bathroom several times, this will change as the kidneys get stronger and cleaner. So weak kidneys have to urinate more and more frequently because they just can't handle as much. So you will have, less frequent urination throughout the evening, but during the day, I don't worry about it. I mean, I eat melons and berries and celery juice, and I'm right there with you. It's just constantly flushing because you're eating such a water-rich diet. And then it sounds like you got through the heavy detoxification symptoms in the beginning that you were experiencing. But yeah, chips really aren't a detox food. So they will stop your detox. They will create an environment of inflammation in the body. So it's just really up to really honing in on your personal goals. And yeah, I'm with you. I'm in South Minneapolis too. It's really intense here. It's a lot of emotion. So find some healthy cheats, like maybe it's a frozen banana date and cacao smoothie, or really crunchy cucumbers and make an avocado dip, or, just like something else, or even, I don't know if you have a dehydrator, but dehydrating raw crackers or anything like that. But there are raw vegan crackers as well, which would be much better than chips. They're a little pricey, of course, but they might get rid of that craving and just help keep you grounded a little bit on the emotional side of things.
And one thing to know, Jack, is like if you're going for it because of a craving, like if your body's like, oh, I need salt, and that's why you reach for the chips. Generally, whenever your body is craving salts, it's really craving minerals. So that's when to reach for your greens or your power shake or have a salad, because your body's just craving minerals. And if you're having like a sweet tooth and reaching for the sweets, it's really your body craving vitamins. So I love in the comments, have fruit on hand, where instead of going and reaching for the chips or the piece of chocolate, just reach for the piece of fruit and eat that and see if that doesn't subside it a little bit.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's really helpful information, and yeah, I didn't have too many instances of that, but yeah, just definitely keeping my fridge stocked with like all of the fruits and vegetables, and then also like that the symptom of the frequent urination I mentioned is kind of subsided, and it wasn't happening during the night at all. So I feel like things are going well, and I just want to keep things on the up and up. So.
Yeah, and do know, Jack, this way of eating does make us more emotionally sensitive. It really does. And so you can be extremely like sensitive and receptive emotionally when things are going on in the world, and we're eating these high vibrational foods. It really attunes us to that level. So if you're feeling deeper emotion, know that that's normal, and it can be really challenging at times to navigate. So really just make sure you're taking good care of yourself, like take a warm bath, or do a little meditation, breathe deep, and just know that by putting these foods in your body, you are really becoming more vibrationally attuned, and so the emotions definitely come through. So just nurturing yourself in that way.
I have a question, a spin off of that. You mentioned salts. Can we do salts?
Can you turn up your volume a little bit? You're a little quiet.
Is it better? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. Just it's shallow.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't know how to make it better. I'll talk louder. How about that? So in my salads, well, two things. Hummus. Nobody's really talked about hummus. And I know we talk a lot about tahini, and I love hummus more than I love tahini. And I was thinking of using that more as a creamy to a salad dressing. So I wondered if that was okay. And I love to just dip a cucumber in there or celery in hummus. Is that okay for like an evening snack? And then salt. Can we use salt during the 10-day cleanse? Like add it on a salad for just a little bit extra of a salty fix?
I can answer that. So the reason why we avoid hummus during the cleansing is because it's cooked beans. And those are more of the acid nature, and cooked foods slow down our detox significantly. So in the future, when you come out of this, and if it's like going to help you maintain a plant-based lifestyle to have like a hummus-based dressing or something like that, absolutely add that back into your diet. But then the salt, Mila, no. The salt cravings are actually coming from adrenal weakness. So when you start craving sugar or salt, you're craving a stimulant for the adrenal glands. And salt is actually inhibits our ability to properly convert minerals. So during the 10-day, I really encourage people, you'll be shocked, to avoid salt because your fruits and vegetables have natural sodium. Like eat more cucumbers, have more of that crunch. But then when you go back to having something salty, you'll be really surprised at how salty it tastes to your mouth. And there's a really great book called Excitotoxins, The Taste That Kills, that talks about sodium and all of the other things. Yeah, Mary Beth, thank you. My brain was tired. I was like, what's the other one? Celery. Celery juice in the evening when you're craving that salt, or crunchy celery, just eating that. So much natural sodium, and it really nourishes the adrenal glands as well. So when we're craving those sweet, salty, savory, all that stuff, that's all adrenals wanting to be stimulated. So just being conscious of that, and as you heal, those cravings will start to subside.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. And actually for my mother-in-law, she wasn't able to get on the call today, but she's only been on the detox or the cleanse. She started her 30-day transformation. This is day 3 for her. And she's breaking out in a rash, and she is allergic to strawberries. I don't know exactly what kind of diet she has, but in the first couple of days, have you guys found that that is common?
Hi. Yeah, I can pop on there. So more of an intense detoxification phase for people. It just depends on where she's coming in from, but she might be feeling it more during that time. And a rash is really just those lymphatic congestions that have been suppressed coming to the surface, and sensitivities. So we really just want to support her kidneys if she wants to do another dose of the tart cherry juice during the daytime, as well as in the evening. That's just going to help her to get the elimination pathway open so that it's not just trying to express itself through the skin. So it should pass within a few days. And also, you know, it just depends on what's going on. There might be some parasitic involvement that's dying off as well. So it's just an expression of whatever is suppressed in that lymphatic system finally coming to the surface as she's doing alkaline foods, and as she's doing those raw foods. So it's just bringing whatever's been underlying up.
Yeah. Okay. Because she took the tart. She got the pack on Friday, and she started it Monday, and she took some of the tart cherry juice on, I think, Sunday night. And she said that when she woke up on Monday morning, she had a rash on her face. So
I think it's honestly just detoxing her deep. Like, our skin is our third kidney, and so it's really really going to bring out, that expression.
Okay,
of
that's what I
cleansing.
told her, but I wasn't, I was like, I'm not sure, but since she's not here today to ask, I'll relay that to her. Thanks, Rita.
Camille,
Yeah, Camille.
I would also suggest
Hey,
doing some lemon water as well, like even adding lemon to the tart cherry. So doing some
okay.
water in the morning and even before bed also can help, really get the kidneys going. So I would just some lemon concentrate or fresh lemon, but add that in as well.
Okay. Oh, that brings up one more question with lemon concentrate. I noticed that most lemon concentrate has some kind of weird preservative in it. Do you just buy the regular, just like organic pure lemon juice concentrate, or is the other stuff harmful?
I would just go for the pure lemon.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thanks, ladies.
I had a question for you, Camille, about, you said your mom had a reaction to strawberries. Because strawberries, you want to always make sure they're organic because they can't peel it or cut off taking note of fruit, 15 and the dirty dozen that you want to be aware of when you're buying fruits and vegetables. And people can have reactions to the chemicals sprayed on the food too. So that's another thing to keep in mind. You're muted.
Yeah, because sorry, my phone was almost dead and I took my headphones out, so I missed the last thing that you said about the dirty dozen.
Yeah, so the clean 15 and the dirty dozen you want to be aware of. There's a chart in the group that you can look at for that, but berries are one thing you always want to make sure you buy organic.
Okay.
And so I don't know if she had a reaction to the chemicals that were sprayed on the strawberries, so I would ask about that and make sure when you get certain berries that their berries should be organic.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Also, I can say on strawberries, I do, you have to fact check this, but I've read a few articles that say that there's certain states that are allowed to spray the plants until there's actual fruit on the plant and still be called organic. So strawberries are something you really want to be cautious of. And surprisingly, what I heard was that it was strawberries coming from California can be sprayed until there's fruit on it, and then they have to stop spraying. So you just want to be cautious of strawberries. Try to buy local and organic because that one will be much better. Yeah, that's about it.
I had a question about the accelerated schedule. So I'm actually on day 30 and I was going to go for another 30 days. Talking with Carrie, I am going to try doing the accelerated schedule. And so I'm wondering what that would look like for the first 10 days when I just have the one shake. So would I have, a shake in the morning and then, some fruit and then have like a veggie meal for lunch and then like a cooked veggie meal or something for dinner? Or am I able to have cooked a day? Like, how would that look for those first 10 days?
You could go based on your body. So I really like when I'm doing a one shake a day plan, I actually intermittent fast in the morning. So I'm not real hungry right away in the morning. So I'll wake up and have my 5 aminos and my lemon water, and I might fast till 11 or noon. And because you've already done a 30-day, it might actually be easier than you think to do that. And then I would break fast at 11 or noon with fruits and high astringent fruits and stay on fruits as long as you can. And then I would have that shake at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe a smoothie bowl around 4, and then just ride it till dinner. And then at night, you could have raw or cooked in the beginning. You'll get deeper with raw. So just really letting us know what your overall goals are. Cooked food, slow down detox and slow down bowel cleansing. But if you need them here and there, it's no problem. But yeah, since you've already done a 30-day, you could kind of take it up a notch, if that makes sense. And then during the 10-day, because you're working on parasite cleansing, it'll be much easier because you'll be on 3 shakes a day. It'll be much easier to not kind of overeat that evening meal. if that's helpful. And then you finish out the cleanse strong with 2 shakes a day. So you'll be doing that. You'll be having plenty of support.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And just to clarify, with some of those, like cucumbers, tomatoes, is that considered a fruit or a vegetable in terms of our food combining?
It's technically a veggie fruit. It's a fruit. It has seeds, but I don't mix it with my other fruits. Personally, like I mix cucumbers, tomatoes, and peas all together in one sitting. That's kind of often my evening meal is like cucumber, peas, tomato, maybe a little avocado and a cilantro and some spices. But when I'm eating fruits, I really stick to like watermelons alone. So I actually will break fast with lemon water and aminos. And then when I'm hungry, I move into watermelon, hydrate, flush. And then when I'm ready for something more sustainable, I'll go like mangoes or berries or cherries. And then I have my shake. And then I move into maybe a smoothie bowl if you want one. And then the evening go to those veggie fruits. So I do notice like peas take longer to digest. Cucumbers take a little bit longer if they have the skin to digest. Same with the tomatoes. So it's just like in the digestive process, how is it going to flow with everything? And maybe Mary Beth has a better input on that. But for me personally, I kind of don't mix the veggie fruits with actual fruits.
Yeah, I agree with you, Carrie.
Okay, I had one other question. In terms of combining with the power shake. So say I did have veggie snack in the afternoon, and then I still have one more power shake left in the day. Do I need to wait 2 hours after having the veggies? And same goes for like cooked foods or anything. Do I have to wait a certain amount of time, or can I kind of combine the power shake with anything?
The power shake can be kind of combined with anything. The only rule I always follow is I don't drink 30 minutes before I eat or 2 hours after. If it's a heavy meal, 1 hour if it's just some veggies or fruits. The only reason is because we really can, like our hydrochloric acid and our ALA, like our digestive juices, basically, we're diluting them by flushing them with fluid because there's a valve at the bottom of your stomach that opens to let fluid pass. So if your food still hasn't finished breaking down and then you start drinking a bunch of water, you're going to flush it through undigested. And then you'll start to see more undigested food in the stools as well. So lighter foods like veggie fruits and stuff, an hour is plenty of time to then go back into having a power shake.
Is that with regular water as well? To don't drink water 30 minutes before food or a certain amount of time after?
Yeah, the reason is because the one place in our body that is supposed to be acidic, it should be a pH of 2.4, is the stomach. And that is for proper digestion, and so that it can actually catch bacteria or parasites if it comes in on the food, or comes in through the saliva, we're touching our face, we've been outside, etc. So our digestive juices are really important. Our gut biome, it's really important that it is in an acid pH, specifically when we're digesting foods. So I make sure that I drink a full glass of water 30 minutes to an hour before. I might have 2. And you also will end up realizing how hungry you actually are once you're hydrated like that. So when I have like a full glass of lemon water, me personally, I drink the apothecary lime and water before dinner because I'm pregnant, I got enough pressure on my bladder, and if you tend to be through the night, I don't want it before bed. So you can do something like that, like a big glass of water with your lime and apothecary. And if you're still thirsty, another half glass, and then just wait 30 minutes because then during that time, your body is actually rebuilding your hydrochloric acid that got flushed from the liquid going through. So then the body starts rebuilding the hydrochloric acid because you can actually bring your stomach pH all the way up to like a 4.0 or 4.5 with fluid while we're eating. So it really is important to make sure that your stomach is ready for digestion.
And how long did you say to wait after? Sorry, I think I missed it.
So 30 minutes before a meal, and I always wait at least an hour after. If you had cooked food, I wait 2 hours, which is really hard because when we have cooked food, you're more thirsty because it's more acidic and dehydrating. So make sure you go into that meal well hydrated. eat your meal. If it's cooked, wait 2 hours. If it was raw, just an hour is fine.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and speaking of digestion, I saw someone had a question on that saying a family member takes Metamucil to help with digestion, and then asking something to help her stay regular. My question would be, what is her diet? And anyone that's having a hard time going to the bathroom is a really good sign that they should, clean out their colon. So going on a cleanse would be my first recommendation, and also seeing what that person is eating, and then emotionally what they're going through too, of what are you holding on to that's having a hard time letting go. Can also be the emotional component to that, but definitely you don't want to rely on Metamucil. You want to get to the root of why they're having that constipation, and changing up the diet is so important.
Lee, go ahead and ask your question if you got.
All right. Hi. So I think I'm around 8 days in, and I'm having a final time just relaxing my body. My weight's going down some, and I feel just clean, and my body's not working so hard. It just feels good. And this is a really good experience. Yesterday, I got a little stressed. I was driving down in Denver, and I was there longer, and I didn't have some food, like flex food. And so I stopped at Natural Grocers. I bought a bunch of fruit, and I ate a lot of fruit, more than I usually do. And then, I guess it was this morning, I had a really good bowel movement. And also I have this thing that's been on and off, or mostly on, which is part of the reason why I went on this cleanse, is like this sensation of bloating or this kind of puffed out stomach. And it's kind of been fluctuating on the cleanse, slowly going down, but then it kind of puffed up. But after I ate all that fruit, it just sort of went down a lot. And I lost another, like my weight went down a little, and I feel even more cleaned out. And I'm wondering if I had a really good fruit experience. It was like, because I don't normally eat that much fruit at one sitting. And it was, I don't know, I had a really, it flushed me out good. And that. So I was wondering if you could say something about that.
I just wanted to, go ahead, Rita.
I was just going to say, yeah, you had a great fruit experience. And that's the beauty of fruit. It will clean us out, and it's very hydrating. So, you said you had bloating after the fruit or before the fruit?
Now, I've had like bloating sensations for a long time, like for months or a long time. And that's part of the reason why I went on this, because my diet was, I eat a lot of cooked food and meats and sugar and lots of stuff that looks like I'm not going to be eating anymore, at least not the same for sure. And that's great. But anyway, so my abdomen, my gut hasn't been like the best. It's been kind of sluggish and kind of bloated, this little puffed out thing. Puffed. And so it's slowly going down with this diet, with this cleanse. But then but it's not like I'm eating food and it's still puffed out and I haven't understood. I just am hanging in there, right? Doing the program. But anyway, yesterday or this morning, I woke up, and after that bowel movement, it was down. Like my abdomen felt and my gut felt more cleaned out than I can remember in a while. I know lots to contribute to just staying with the program and taking the supplements, which is why I also asked, what's going to happen when I start on the deep cleanse? I'm sure I'll find out, but I'm kind of excited. This is all kind of it's not too intense. It's gradual, and it's working.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Rita.
I was just going to say, yeah, that's amazing. I mean, the fruit, what it's doing is it's helping to unlodge things that are old in our digestive system
Yeah.
and in our bowels. And you know, those things, whatever they are, can have been there for a long, long time. And like there's little pockets in the bowels and such that they can get stuck in. And that can cause a lot of bloating and inflammation and discomfort or parasite growth, you know. And so the fruit is actually changing the terrain, and it's pulling that lymphatic congestion and any of that built up like mucoid plaque out of the bowels. And once that is away, then the bowels are going to start to heal themselves. The tissue starts to regenerate itself just as soon as we remove those acid wastes and kind of that buildup, you know, and as we change the terrain of the internal environment. So that's awesome. You're having less bloating. It does make perfect sense that you're just cleaning out things that are not serving, and, you know, different bacteria and parasites and such can cause bloating. And when you take away what they're living off of and introduce that alkaline environment, then they no longer have a home to reside in. So that can eliminate a lot of that bloating. So that's awesome. I'm glad you're experiencing that.
Well, anyway, I also asked about a cleanse. I mean, a colonic, because someone I know knew someone, and I told her I was doing this, and she's like, "Oh, you should get a colonic." And I'm like, I don't know. So, I mean, I'm open to experiencing it, but yeah.
I'd say colonics are great when you're deep cleansing. It's not something you want to, you know, a lot of people take a colonic because they're dealing with chronic constipation and they start to use that as the way to move their bowels. And we don't want to become dependent on something like that. But during a deep cleanse, a colonic can be really powerful to pull out mucoid plaque. And my top recommendation to get the most bang for your buck is to really dive into all fruits or juice for a few days and taking at least 4 Biomedic and the super cleansers, and then go get a colonic and really let everything just flush out, because you won't have any obstruction in the bowels at all. So the water will be able to get really high up into the colon, which is 36 to 40 feet, and really pull out a lot of waste. So whenever I dive into a deep detox, I actually do a session of like 3 colonics. And I'll do like 1 in the beginning, 1 in the middle, 1 towards the end.
Thanks. This is great.
We're kind of at the top of the hour. Does anybody else have any questions? You guys, and I wanted to say thank you also. And I wanted to say one more thing about the app. I'm getting a lot of questions like, where are the recipes? Where are this? So I just want to make sure everybody knows how to use the app. When you come in, it's just going to be a main feed, like you're scrolling through everyone's questions and posts. But if you go to the menu tab in the top right section, and then the left sidebar will pull up and it'll say topics. There's like topics, members, events. Click on topics, and then everything is laid out there. Because I'm just getting like 10 plus messages a day. I'm like, where are things? And so I just hope that helps clarify. And if anybody's having any specific trouble, let us know. We'll put a screenshot. I'll do a screen recording and put it in the group on how to navigate through.
Yeah, thanks, Carrie. That was helpful. And just wanted to also acknowledge like the times we're all in and being mindful of the emotions. I know it's been extra intense for those of us, especially in Minneapolis, in Minnesota, and I know it's affecting everyone in the world. And so, yeah, just wanting to honor all that and just bring that forward and use this time to take really good care of yourself, because then we can show up in the best way that we can to help this collective whole transform in a beautiful way. And that's what I'm personally having to take on, is going through a lot of intense emotions, but I keep going back to I got to take care of myself and keep moving forward so I can keep helping the greater good.
Cool. Thank you. And I'm going to pop off because I have to teach yoga. So Rita just put in there that she already has a navigation thing pinned, so I'll let her pop in and share on that. But if people are needing more support and wanting more support, I have a window from 11 to 11:30 on Sundays that I'm happy to come on and support you. These other ladies probably can't. But if that's something you want, please post it or message it to me, and I will be there for 30 minutes on Sundays just for that midweek support. Well, this is midweek support, but maybe top of the week support.
Thank you, Carrie, and thank you everyone for being here. And we'll see you next week. Same place, same time. Be well.
Thanks so much for all your wisdom, ladies. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Thanks for